Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Anvil. And look, I said it right this time. Last time I stammered through it. So we'll try to keep the
Good
swearing
job.
habits down to little or very none at all and jump down the rabbit hole of all good things. On today's episode, we're doing an interview with Justin Mellor on United We March, the founder of it, and Gut Match. It's been going on for five,
Eight
six,
years.
8 years now. Wow, is it really
8 years.
8 years? Man, that's been a minute. So,
Time flies.
I'm going to turn it over to you, Justin, and kind of give us a rundown who you are, how you come up with it, and what we can do to help.
Um, I believe all things in life happen for a purpose, the good and the bad. And we mostly, if we don't get anything, we don't improve on, our situations that are horrible. I guess get to the point. I I was a substance abuse for 15 years. Didn't matter what substance it was, I used it, and it was a coping mechanism for something I didn't even know why I was using. Uh, I got sober, got clean, and it changed my life. And something, it was just right there in front of me. It was no mistake that I needed to show respect, honor, gratitude to not only our military but our first responders, firefighters, law enforcement. Because going through the recovery process and rehab, I leaned on a lot of people that was there that also understood my situation, and it's through that act of service and giving, and it's a rewarding uh, gift. And who else better than those who sacrificed for us? And it began right after I got sober. We went and did the Bataan Death March Memorial at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico.
And I've heard a
And
lot of stories about that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. And that's,
oh,
uh,
you're good.
that's a pretty tough one from what I understand. I've never been there, but
It's
Arizona and the heat. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was 106 degrees that day, and I mean it sucked, and it's supposed to.
True.
But going through that with friends, and then the people I witnessed along the way, I seen I mean, this elderly lady was at mile 14, and she had, I mean, walking sticks and leg braces, and it's obvious that she was doing the 26 mile. And I even seen, and I pretty dang sure I got to know this guy's name. He had no leg, like he had nothing. Okay. We passed him about mile 8, and he's got gloves on and a mat on his lower section. He's just going. So there was no excuse. And he's doing it for a reason. He's doing it for him. It's a healing thing to do a ruck march. Crossing the finish line. It's I'll never forget that feeling of accomplishment, but also learn more about myself along that way. And in that recovery process, you're kind of on a high anyway. And then come a year later, we was going to go do the Bataan again. Um, my stepfather was sick and died, so we had to cancel that. And the idea come is let's do a ruck march in Gunnison, Utah. And it just built from there. That first year was very successful. We had, I think, 60 participants, and
Yeah, it was
it's like we
pretty
got to
good.
do this again and again and again.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you invited us out to the shop out there for the first. We set up a little deal, a little demonstration. Uh,
Yep.
I think looking back at that was a pretty warm day. We kind of got set up by the old cabin there. Like, man, we should have been over in the shade. It was a hot day. Shane Barlows came over. He helped out. I think that's kind of what sparked off Daisy's little idea of bladesmithing. She's like, Dad, can we do something? Sure. And we found a little nail, and she forged out a little nail out of a knife out of a nail, and still out in the shop. One of these days she'll probably finish it, put a handle on it. I don't know.
There
But
you go.
God, it's been really 8 years. God, it didn't seem that long ago. I mean, it's wow, when's time fly?
We don't look any older by hell.
Uh, what do you mean? I look sexier every day, buddy. Not as thin, maybe. Well, I don't know. I think I'm a little thinner than I was last year. I've dropped a few pounds, but that's besides the point. So as kind of saying like you went through this experience, the heat and everything else, it's like probably you're putting yourself through basically a forge or a kiln.
Yep.
Change yourself. I mean, the heat and everything, the pressure. Um, Myself, I've never known what addiction is like, so I can only stand on the outside, listen, and try to be sympathetic as I can, not knowing what people have gone through that, I guess. There's a lot of new stuff coming up with therapies and such. With we'll get into it a little bit later, but go ahead and continue on the story. I just wanted to throw that out there, kind of like being in the forge and creating yourself and letting, well, God kind of come into your life a little bit too, and the
Oh,
refiner
absolutely.
fire. So anyway, please continue.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that as, God comes in our lives, and I had forgotten him or not let him in my life for close to those 15 years. But you know what? The one morning that I woke up from my absolute rock bottom, we don't know what a rock bottom is until we realize it and make it out of it. But from that morning on, um, there was definitely, I don't know, spiritual or anything else, but there's definitely a light. I was for the first time, and I had been hitting it that hard that previous 6 months. I actually got up, collected myself, and to be honest, when I woke up and seen the ceiling that morning, the previous evening, my plan had been put in place to not wake up again. So it was I mean, it's hard to put into words because I'll never be able to explain that feeling. But I was not hungover that day for whatever reason. It's been 6 months. How do you get over a hangover in the morning? You start using again instantly. I I was fresh, I was clear headed, and it still took me half a day to figure out what had actually happened that morning. But I think whoever the Lord sent to me that morning, they must have had a damn battle on their hands that night. But it was through him and people that I knew got to met and especially in rehab, it's hard to talk to somebody that isn't an addict or suffering to explain your problems to. And they helped me. I I helped them. It was the greatest strength that I've ever been through. So it is you say forging, that's a great example because we are forging. We're becoming stronger, more resilient, and it really does set a path in place of an awareness of this is where I was. I've learned from this. I'm going to keep going and keep building that strength. And I think the greatest gift we can give is sharing those experiences with others to help them. Because otherwise, why did I go through it? Why did they go through it? If we can't help others, it we went through it for nothing.
So after your experience with the walk down in Arizona, this led you to bring up and create the Gut Check and United We March here in Gunnison, Utah. That happens around mid-September,
Yep,
kind of
around September 11th.
around September 11th, depending on where the date falls, more or less.
Yep.
So unpack that for us. How did that kind of just like, I mean, just wake up one morning and talk with somebody? How did this idea, besides bringing it here, I mean, how do you formed it? How did you? I had questions in my head forming earlier through the morning on this. Now they're not recalling. I hate that. ADHD. Anyway, squirrel moment. But kind of just tell us how do you basically light the fire of this whole
Yep.
operation?
Just coming up with the idea of, like I said, let's have a ruck march in Gunnison. Well, what do we need? I mean, logistics. We need water stations. We need to figure out a route. We need mile markers, and it turned into and it just fell in place. Um, Registration. It was a lot of work to get, but I had folks from this community that believed in it also because it wasn't about me or them. It was about getting people out and participating in the gut check. It's a personal resolve. It's not giving up. It's getting through some circumstances and learning about yourself. And it's everyone I can say that participates in the gut check are better than when they began. They learned something about themselves and improved and realized that they can do anything. Because who's our greatest enemy?
Ourselves.
Yep, that person that we're looking in the mirror every morning. And I've had our first year we had a woman participate, and she finished. She made it, but it wasn't until after she sent me a write up about her situation, and she was going through cancer at that time. And just that's them stories I hear every year is like, this is why we do this. Like if it's just one person we help, that's what the gut check's about.
And part of this, this is a charitable foundation too, as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
um, so I mean, there's a little bit of fundraising that helps veterans, first responders, or people elsewhere in the community going through struggles or such, or is it?
It Yeah, I mean we fundraise, we have sponsorships, we have an auction, raffles, that type of fundraising. Our the benefiting organizations are based around military, which has been the UVU veterans. It's actually military assistance student hub now. They're
Nice.
kind of the middleman between the VA. They make sure their veteran students get through and all the needs they or that they need are available. We give firefighter aspect of it as a Wildland Firefighter Foundation in Boise, Utah. Utah 1033 Foundation is based out of Utah for fallen officers on duty. Um, we've always gave to Operation Enduring Warrior. This year, they're main of our benefactors. They help law enforcement, veterans, firefighters do obstacle course racing, veteran retreats. It's honor, empower, and motivate is their model. And we have one under my grandfather's name, Corporal Asel Thompson. He was a prisoner of war. That's our service project. So if there's a veteran around here, we get notified that maybe they need a wheelchair ramp. Maybe they just need some yard work. Maybe, we'll facilitate those needs through other groups and contractors. And it's we yeah, it's our 8th year. The only reason this is successful because people do care
The community has come
about
together
these
to
people that
help
we're
build
here.
this up even more. So,
Yeah.
so, so. God, I know I had questions in my head. Now I try my recall. Some days it's just like, "Boop."
It's because
um,
you're getting old.
yeah, I hit the big 4-0 this year. I mean, woo! Woke up even looking sexier. Um, yeah, sure. Good thing a lot of people can't see this unless they're on YouTube watching this, then they get kind of scared. But and one thing I like about it, gut check anything. Last year, Dad at 74 years old,
Yep.
went on the gut check. I believe he signed up for half marathon, excuse me, half
Yep.
mile. I think he did it in just what, a little over 6 hours, I believe. I can't remember his time. I know we have it written down somewhere. I should have asked.
About right. Yeah.
Um, I don't know if he'll do it this year. He's starting to slow down a lot more. He says, I can't do what I used to. Well, yeah, Dad, you're 75 now, and that's okay. But I'll have to hit him up, see if he's gonna try it again this year or not. If he is, I'll get him registered and everything. So um now if you're a veteran and everything else, I know most people there's a general fee to sign up, and there you can sign up in individual or groups or
Yep.
uh,
Individual teams, and we have a 4 mile. Our half is 16 mile, and our full is 25 miles. But yeah.
And if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, if you are a veteran first responder, you do get a discount on your entry fee
Yes.
for
You get
those
a
individuals. Correct?
50% discount. Yep.
Sweet. And all that money that goes into those fees are for charitable and help the organization to move forward in its mission, correct?
Yeah. The registration fees will cover, we give a swag bag, t-shirts, finisher medal, patches.
Nice.
It covers those expenses and gives a little bit more that we can give back. We're honestly the middleman between those who donate and believe in us to these organizations. So
Awesome.
We provide a place and a time, and
That's
that's our job.
right on. Um, Now this year, what is there anything new this year coming up? We got gut check coming up September 13th, 2025.
Yep.
Give us a rundown. Give us a rundown on where they can register, where they can sign up. I'm going to try to get this episode probably round the first of the month, give or take. Maybe I might even dump it
Okay.
as a special episode early. So, give us a rundown on that. Where they can go, how they can, everything goes this year.
Um, so every year, and I live right next to the Gunnison City Park is where the main event is, Gunnison, Utah. September 12th. It's really a 2 day event. September 12th on the Friday, we have our dinner, a motivational speaker, our auction, and we always have had a patriotic procession with Big Betsy from Follow the Flag. She's a quarter acre of red, white, and beautiful. Um,
That's a big flag, that's for sure.
and she's 400 pounds, and when the wind blows, if there's a little kid hanging on the end of that, they're flying. Yep. We got a little bit different this year. We are bringing Big Betsy down again, and it's approximately 6:30. She'll be at the Gunnison football field for their homecoming game, and we're going to stretch her out there for the national anthem, roll her back up, and then she'll make an appearance before the gut check begins on Saturday. We roll her out and sing the national anthem.
Nice. Is there going to be any parade? I know there's some been the last few years parade up through Main Street and such like. Is there going to be that this year
No,
or no? Not this year.
we're
Okay.
no, not this year, because usually Big Betsy's the main attraction to that, and there's actually two parade. There's a parade earlier that day,
Hmm.
so we're going to bring her to the football field. But it's
Okay.
basically our motivational speaker this year is Darren Hoover. He's a retired law enforcement officer, and he's a Gold Star father. And unfortunately, I wish I'd have never met him, because that'd mean his son was still here. But his son was one of those that died on August 26, 2021, Abbey Gate, Afghanistan, at our exit of a 20-year war on terrorism. But so every year we've had a motivational speaker, and that's United We March is about, I mean, what's the greatest division is horrible in this country right now. And it's political, it's social media, it's if we can all become united. I mean, we all hear the greatest generation. You know what generation that is.
Yes. World War
And
II.
everybody says, oh, they're almost gone. They're going to be gone soon. It's like, no, they're not. Like, how they want us to be the greatest of ours.
Yep.
And we want to be raising the greatest generation of our children. And we have to feed that somehow. The youth is a big part of our event every year. The elementary school is absolutely amazing. They help us every year. We've got to plant those little tiny seeds in the hearts of these children and people, and have their own. I mean, have your own opinion and beliefs, but we sure as hell don't have to hate each other, especially based on politics. It's like your father, went to a horrific war in Vietnam, and all these up to GWAT. They took an oath, and they protected everybody's rights to have their own beliefs and opinions, and we should not hate each other for that. We should work together.
Yeah, and then we gotta, just because we have a different opinion doesn't mean we have to hate each other. We don't. Yeah, we might get a little irritated, a little less. Well, we need to take those feelings, put
Sure.
them aside when it comes to the benefit of the nation. We're in a nation that, well, there's no other place like it in history for the last 225, yeah, 249 years.
1775, yeah.
Yep. If you look at history throughout the world and such, it's been written. This country is definitely different. It's ourselves that gets in the way of it. We let our petty differences kind of divide us. We can all live together and work together as a nation to benefit ourselves, our own individual, etc. But it's just we just got to figure that out. And people like to divide it. If people are divided, they're easily conquered, unfortunately. Um,
Yeah.
One thing I like about the gut check is giving back to veterans and everything else. As you mentioned, my dad was a Vietnam veteran. served in Vietnam from 70 to 71. Caught in the tail end of the war, so he didn't get he still saw combat. He was a combat veteran, saw some stuff. Interesting stories growing up. Every now and then when mom wasn't around, we was able to get a few stories out of dad, but it's like, no, we don't want to talk about that stuff. And the reason why is PTSD. Um, those who've got veterans in their family understand that, even in not only PTSD from combat and everything else from being a veteran, but we also have that with law enforcement, EMS,
Yep.
firefighters. There's different levels of trauma there, and one of the things I've been hearing lately over the last few years, such as a lot about this ibogaine therapy or DMT therapy. It's not legal in the states yet, but this ibogaine therapy with, especially with veterans, to help with drinking, the drug addiction, everything else, it's literally almost sounds, as I understand it, it's basically a complete brain reset when they go through this process. It's a spiritual process to them, and a lot of guys I've listened to their testimony of this ibogaine therapy, DMT. There's one more,
Yep.
and I cannot remember it. It's the hallucinogen that comes off of frogs. I know
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Um, I'm sure you've listened a bit of that.
Psychedelics. Yeah.
Yeah, the psychedelic therapy, as just to get high and to drift off out of life. No, but therapies like this, it fascinates me. Why are we not using it in this country? It's because of the lack of education. And I hope with this program, I'm here maybe bring that up and try to get some more experts on that later on down the road. But do you think, and not even for veterans, but also for addicts and such like that, I've been I have listened and I've read a little bit that it's helped them literally overnight break their habits of drinking and alcohol and everything else. And of course, there's different therapy programs through the places they go um, to help people like that. What have you read and understand?
I've heard on the psychedelic end, I've studied a little bit. It's almost like a breakthrough they'll go through. It's like a 2-day deal. They feed them, and I don't know the substance. Um, I've heard good about it. I honestly have not heard anything bad. And
And
it's kind of one of them. And I've heard there's many different aspects of therapy. And if this one works for someone and doesn't the other, great. There's Forge Forward in Lehi, Utah, is using virtual reality
I've heard about
to,
this.
to help with suicide because they can put on the headsets, they can detach, but they can also communicate with another veteran through these. And it takes them out of the current situation, makes them forget, and it's actually they've done brain tests where it gets the blood flowing in their brain again.
And that's what I understand with this, like this ibogaine, which is non-addictive. And why is it? There's all sorts of different channels. We could go down that at some other point. But it literally kind of, from what I understand, rewires the brain. The areas where they've done MRIs of the brain of with people with heavy PTSD, it shows up black. And after going through the courses of the therapy, I think some of it's a week-long therapy session. It's not just one day. It's two or three,
Yep.
counseling, going through the experiences, and then counseling afterwards. They've shown from beginning and after. I think people, you can fact check me on this. If I'm missing out some stuff, let us know in the comments. Um, it changes it. It goes for the black and starts showing normal activity. Is it a cure all? It's going to cure everything? No, I think it's with any kind of trauma in life, you still got to go through your steps of therapy and such like that. And at least that's the way I understand it. And I just wanted to get your thoughts about that.
Oh, yeah, and I think it's multifaceted. I mean, one thing will work great for one person, it won't another, and I think sometimes you got to get a combination of 3 different forms of therapy. Um, and I do think it's day and night. When something works with a certain individual, it's going to take off from there, and it's a continued battle.
Mm.
It doesn't just. It's not like a magic pill that
No,
it wouldn't that be nice if we had a magic pill for
right?
everything, but it definitely starts on a different path of healing and awareness. I mean, the battles, no matter PTSD, the trauma, no matter what anybody's going through, it's if you can defeat what's going on up here or understand and start pro reprogramming and actually like, mine was just one day at rehab where I was reading my life story that I just wrote, and I was like, that was why I was using. I finally understood, and then it was.
Build
It
off of that.
sounds very simple and stupid and too easy, but that's why I wasn't coping, I wasn't dealing, I wasn't communicating, and that was that I realized when I started using. But um, it's definitely
So
I mean, it's a
doing the United We March, how's that helped you in the next couple minutes? How's that helped you with your, I guess you could say struggle or building yourself up from being an addict, keep on that path of straight and narrow, I guess you could say. Sorry, I'm grasping for words. I had everything worked in my head out. I should have made me notes, I guess. I'm going to get me a little teleprompter here to kind of scroll as I'm going with my questions here. Bear with me. I'm still trying to learn how to do this on my own. Just kind of in the next couple minutes, kind of how's this United March, how all the gut check and everything else, you participated with it now and then and being involved with this, how's this helped you personally?
um, I'm serving the best way I can. I I mean, service has been really my savior. I couldn't I couldn't I was medically unable to join or serve in the military. And I look back at my life back then, I probably wouldn't have been worth the crap if I could have. But at this point in my life, figuring things out, I think we all can serve um, one another. I mean, that's part of being an American, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we if we was kind to one another, serve one another, and let's and in these small communities that we live in, yeah, we know this person, that person. How about we reach out to those that we never talk to? Nobody ever knocks on their door. Nobody ever walks up and hi, how you doing? Just out of the blue. And every day we walk out of the house, we have that ability in our hearts to build someone up, right?
Yes.
I mean, what greater gift can and imagine this because I overthink stuff and I'm okay with that. Even these GWAT guys are coming home and they're seeing this division in the country. Like, do you think they ask themselves, what the hell did I fight for? What was it worth it? What if they seen something good? I mean, how would that imagine them tiny little things like that they witness
Mm-hmm.
would help them through their struggles, their battles?
Oh, definitely. After we pulled out of Afghanistan, I watched the videos and everything else, and the dad said flat out that he kind of struggled with it a little bit because he says it says it took him right back to Vietnam to pull out of all that, and it's like, why did we even go, kind of thing. So,
Yeah,
and you're right. You know what? I mean, we can try to, and like I said, you don't have to go out and do 20, 30 hours a year would be awesome, every day, just little things every day to be, not you start at home with your, charity starts at home and then build off there, help your neighbor, hey, the neighbor's got some trash in the yard and they're kind of sick or something. Hey, can just kind of let them, hey, anything can help out, pick up the trash, take the trash can to the road for them, bring it in, simple stuff like that. Um,
absolutely. There's more strength in those little things, and because you build, let's just say a grain of sand, we do something good and good. That stuff adds up and adds up and adds up over time, and people witnessed. Talk is cheap, but our acts are overwhelming and valuable. I'll ex- we give a scholarship actually in Darren Hoover's son Taylor Hoover's name every year, and
nice.
we give out this book that's the butterfly effect, and what it basically is, and it's proven with science. It is possible. The butterfly flapping its wings moves the air, and it gets more powerful and more powerful, and whatever at the end or far out, it's exponential. It could start a tornado, right?
Yes.
Just keep that in your mind. Them simple little acts that we have, that we all have the ability to do. Someone sees that, they're going to carry that on. Two other people are going to see that, carry that on, carry that on. So that's a butterfly effect, and it's just exponential. We don't need to see the results, but we can sure as hell start it.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things we're going to be doing here at the shop here is we got a knife we're going to working on. Um, I'll talk off camera a little bit about more details, or I'll just send you a message one or two because we got about 6 minutes left here.
Okay.
We're donating a knife. We're going to
Yep.
do a little bit of filming. For our new, we're changing the name from Beat the Smith to American Bladesmith, where we can expand the show. Our first episode under Beat the Smith. American Bladesmith was going to be involving with Gut Check and what we're doing there. To give you a little sneak peek, um, so, but in the next minute, take a next minute or so. Where do you want to see this go for the future? Or is there future plans coming up? Do you want to build it bigger? Or are we just going to keep what we're doing? Or is there something that you want to get out there real quick?
Um, I think back to the core of the gut check, the ruck march is providing that place, the facilities, the needs. I would love to see thousands of people participate in the gut check. We can, like I said, our fundraising and who we help, we believe in, we've seen the results, money and donations like yourself. But we will continue that. But I would like to see the gut check just grow and grow and grow, because I know everybody that crosses that finish line, they did it not for us. They did it for them. They're stronger, they're better, they're learning, and they'll be back next year and they'll bring friends. And I just want people more healthier to realize that they have those talents and abilities and hearts that person in the mirror always talks them out of. To have excuses. I mean, what do we instinctively do? I'm not in shape for that. I can't do that. I'll never be able to do that. I don't look like that person, which it's a lie. Lies are there to talk us out of something that we need to do. It's false.
And that's one thing I can see with the gut check. If you don't never, you kind of nervous about it. Come through that. I mean, it's gonna be hot. It's not an easy place. It's out in the kind of
No.
the desert area. Come forge that negative into a positive. Let's forge that into a positive. As Shane Barlow's one just telling me, we was talking about taking some of the material that he brought back that almost ended his life. We put it in a knife. He says, "Well, I want to take that. I want to forge that negative into a positive. That's something he could use. A knife which he could use to, cook his family dinner, defend the family if he needed to, with etc." So we took that negative, the stuff that almost took his life when he was overseas. And we forged that down. We built that into a knife, and we forged that into a new positive. Took that negative stuff that was, meant to kill him, meant to kill Serviceman, and we forged that. So, with these walks, these gut checks, not only here in Gunnison, Utah, but the other ones around the country, that's what it is. Just come, challenge yourself, put yourself through the heat to the forge, and forge it, and hopefully come out a new product. Take your negativity and burn it out through the oh
Forging process.
yeah, basically the forging process of and it's like with salvation and everything else, with it, turn yourself over to the Almighty and let Him forge you into anew as well. And that's kind of how this process of these works, and that's kind of what your goal is, to help people,
Yep.
not only people that are non-military that come to want to participate, but also veterans and everything else, and raise money to go towards charities to help veterans, first responders, in the little ways that we can try to make their lives better. Real quick, shout out where people can go to sign up, maybe donate, your social media and everything else.
So for registration, it is gutcheck.itsyourrace.com. Three different race lengths. You can do the heavy or the light. You can run, you can walk, you can crawl. Uh, um, our website is unitedwemarch.us, or our Facebook, United We March. All right, I take that back. because Facebook doesn't like Second Amendment items posted. Last year we got our page taken down. So now it is United We Are Stronger on Facebook and
I noticed
United
that. I was like,
Marched on
where?
Instagram.
I was going through, it's like, wait a second, wait a second. Was this it? Oh, it is. What? Okay, so that answered my question on that. I was going to ask what happened to that. We've had that happen here before too. Unfortunately, even in the land of the free of expression, and everything else. Granted that Facebook is a private entity. We do sign up to the user agreements, etc. It's still kind of it's a big platform. It's a publicly traded company now. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
goes
I
back to
guess
the
they have that freedom, huh?
yes, they do. Um, real quick, give us a little anything you want to share in the final a minute or so of inspirational thoughts for everybody.
Um, Remember that person you look in the mirror is can be your worst enemy or your best friend. Our battles are lost and won up here. Um, you're better than you realize, and we can't do nothing alone. Ask for help, do something together, and do something just kind for somebody you don't even know. The benefits to them and everyone that surround us will be exponential.
Awesome.
What America's about.
Well, thanks, Justin, for your time for this. Thanks for coming on this. This is just where I've got everything set up where it goes out up to pretty much all the podcast platforms there is, which is really cool. And I didn't realize that until the day later after I dropped the first up. I was like, oh, I got to lock add these on. But we're gonna roll out here, end the recording here in just a second. As we say in the shop here, folks, stay sharp, America, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Behind the Anvil. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.